Hello dear aspirants, welcome to our videos on deconstructing reading comprehension for the CSAT paper that is going to be held soon in 2024. With respect to CSAT, you must have seen that every year 27 to 28 questions are asked by UPSC, and year by year the nature of question is changing. But through this video, I want to tell you some secrets which you can use to master this reading comprehension and try to get at least 90 or 85% of the questions correct without spending much of your time. To achieve this, we are going to follow a protocol, an instruction system, which will help us to arrive at the answer quickly and swiftly. So without wasting much of our time, let us jump into the instructions that I want to tell you, which you need to follow to solve these questions quickly. I call these instructions the Panchashil, which you need to imbibe in order to process the information in the passage very quickly within 1 minute or so. The first thing that you have to do is you have to firstly read the question statement and the option statement. So you don't have to waste your time in reading the comprehension. You don't have to waste your time there. Jump on to the question statement and the option statements that are given after the passage. Second thing that you have to do is eliminate the option which are unreasonable. Unreasonable means which are unjustified and cannot be rationally justified through an administrative approach. Administrative approach means, you see, and you are applying for a post that is the topmost post of our country. The task of an administrator like an IAS is to implement a government policy in a practical and the most comprehensive way. So every decision that he takes, every conclusion that he arrives at will be always rational, reasonable, and practical. So within the option framework, if you find some statements which are unreasonable, which are impractical, which are difficult to implement, looking at the complexities of these government and administrative system of India, you can easily choose to eliminate those statements. Third thing is scan the passage quickly. Now you have to scan the passage quickly. By scanning, I mean just glance through the passage and identify the broad theme of the passage, what the passage is trying to say, what the author is trying to convey, and what is the message or what he is trying to suggest. Just two things you have to you have to be aware of, right? This can be done very quickly if you master the previous year question statements of UPSC. If you master the last 5 to 10 years or maybe 5 to 7 years of reading comprehension papers, you will be able to do it very quickly. Fourth thing that you have to do is remove the option statements that are explicitly mentioned or beyond the scope of the passage. Explicitly mentioned means, you see, nowadays you are asked by UPSC to identify the statement which is implicit, or what is the inference, what is the assumption, logical corollary, and critical statement, something like this, right? So these kind of statements cannot be an explicit statement which is already given in the passage, because what is hitherto explicit cannot be implicit. So we will understand this better by looking at the question that we are going to discuss just a few seconds from now. But for this moment, just keep it on the back of your mind that you have to remove statements which are explicitly mentioned or statements which are beyond the scope of the passage. You will understand the scope of the passage if once you identify the theme and the message of the author. Lastly, we will reach towards the most comprehensive, simple, and the practical option statement. You see, using the administrative mindset while solving the question is very, very important. An administrator always tries to come at a decision, or he always tries to implement a policy in a way which is most comprehensive, which does not exclude any stakeholder, any possible option, which is simple to implement, which can be simply simplified in the administration, and also which is very, very practical. It is not idealistic, because idealism may prevail at the policy level, but it does not prevail at the implementation level. So with this Panchsheel approach, let us come to the question which has been asked by UPSC in 2023. This is the passage. We will not read the passage. We will implement our this instruction approach and try to solve the question. Let us just first look at the first instruction, which is read the question statements, identify the keywords of the question statement. The keywords are rational statement which best reflects the most rational, practical, and immediate action. Now, this is very important, immediate action, because the options cannot be such which talks about long-term solutions and solutions which are idealistic in nature. So we have to get rid of those statements, because the question wants us to come at a immediate action and required to ensure fair and equitable allocation of water. So just by reading this question statement, I have understood that the passage must be talking about some water dispute or water problem, and there is a need for equitable allocation of it. And the answer should be which is practical and which is immediate action can be done, right? So with this, we have solved our first thing. Second is eliminate unreasonable or impractical option. Now see, look at the option B here. What it says: all river system of the country should be linked and huge aquifers should be created. Now, all linking all the river system of the country, does it seem to be a practical and immediate action to you? I really don't think, because immediately you cannot link the river system which is originating in Himalayas and peninsular India, and you see, in the length and breadth of India, the complexity of our geography, it is very, very difficult to link all the river system of the country, and that too immediately, and construct huge aquifers. So this is an impractical and unreasonable statement, so we can eliminate it outright. Now looking at the option D, it says to mitigate water crisis, water demand of the sector such as agriculture and industry should be reduced. Now use your administrative mindset. India wants to become a developed country. By 2047, we want to become a developed country. We want to achieve high per capita income growth, exponential growth, V-shaped recovery, this recovery, that recovery. So can we afford to reduce the demand of these sectors like agriculture, industry in any way? Even if it's water, it is water or electricity. We can talk about the effective utilization of water. We can talk about the augmentation, the recycling thing, but we cannot talk about the reducing water demand of these sectors, right? So this is obviously unreasonable. It cannot be justified. No administrator in India can take a policy decision which reduces the water demand of sector in order to ensure fair and equitable allocation of water to different stakeholders. This is not fair and equitable, right? So we have eliminated B and D just by looking at the option only. Now third thing that we have to do is scan the passage quickly and identify the key facts, broad theme, and message or suggestion of the author. So you can read the passage on your own. I have already identified the broad theme. Broad theme is that it talks about the conflict between different states in India over river water, and there is a need for a practical and lasting solution to solve the problem of just water allocation. So this is the broad theme. The message or the suggestion that the author is making is that there is a need for allocating fair share of water to them, requiring assessment using objective criteria. It is paying specific attention to the objective criteria. There is a need for understanding the specificity of the river basin, size of the dependent population, environmental issues, everything like that. Okay. So with this, we have understood the broad theme and message. Fourth, remove the option statement that are explicitly mentioned or beyond the scope of the passage. Now we are left with option A and option D. Option A and option C. First, look at the option C. It says water channel between regions of water surplus and regions of water deficit should be created. Now, passage nowhere talks about creating water channels. Creating water channels is not an immediate action. Will it solve the problem of ensuring fair and equitable allocation of water to different stakeholders? Will all these different stakeholders will be just given fair amount of water by just constructing your water channels? Very difficult and very impractical to think about, right? So the only option we are left with is option A, which says a national, pragmatic, legal, and policy framework for water allocation should be made. Now, this statement resonates with the requirement of the question, which says, asks us to identify the most rational, practical, and immediate. So, immediate thing that we can do is we need a national, pragmatic, legal, and policy framework for the water allocation throughout the country, right? So, this way we have come to the right answer by eliminating the wrong answers. So, please follow this 5 instruction approach, the Panchsheel, and you will always arrive at the right answer. We will come up with more of such videos in the upcoming time. So please subscribe to our channel for such videos. Until then, happy learning and all the best for the upcoming exam. Thank you.